What is time?
Time is like a river. Space and time is a fabric. We can bend the fabric of space-time.
Time travel is absolutely possible.
The laws of physics seem to be compatible with time machines. This is very unsettling.
Albert Einstein taught us that time travel is possible if you're focusing upon time travel to the future.
I mean, I wouldn't classify them as humans. They were more, seem to be descendants of humans.
This is a newspaper published in 2027.
We went to the future, to 2050, and we saw the apocalypse. We don't understand about the universe.
What if you sleep one night in 2024 and the next morning come up with a date centuries ahead or back? What if you suddenly teleport to another dimension only to find a completely new world? Let's find out the answer to this what if by watching the stories of these time travelers who came up with shocking truths.
In 2028, the world you know will disappear.
Meeting your future self is quite a fascinating thought, right? But what if I tell you it actually happened to someone in 2006? This is the story of a Swedish man named Johan Nordqvist. According to him, one day he came back to his place and found his kitchen flooded.
Kom hem då och gick in I köket. Nej, vad fan. Så det var precis massa vatten på golvet där då.
As he was trying to fix the issue, he reached under the sink and ended up in a different time and place. And there, he met his future self.
Ja, och därför jag ser mig själv som äldre och kanske 70 och sånt där.
Now, this story could be easily debunked if he didn't have a video recorded on his phone. The video showed his older self with an identical tattoo on his arm. Now, it may look like the most convincing story of time slip, but there are still some people who suggested it might just be an edited video. A man from 8973. In 2018, a man named William Tyler claimed that he time traveled from some really insane years, like 3000 and 8973. He was even hooked up to a lie detector test during an interview to prove it.
As you can see, we have the lie detector hooked up, which measures breathing and heart rate, among other things. And while lie detectors aren't a 100% guaranteed way of telling if somebody's telling the truth, it'll give us the basis of which to base our evidence on.
According to him, in the year 8973, he met some evolved beings with telepathic powers and really advanced technology.
While in the year 8973, did you meet any actual humans?
I mean, I wouldn't classify them as humans. They were more, seem to be descendants of humans. People of the future had very small mouths. It's obviously a result of them not using their mouths that much. I mean, the only way that they spoke to each other was, the only way to describe the way they spoke to each other was telepathically. They were using telepathy.
But in the year 3000, it was quite the opposite. It was a dystopia. Polluted and desolate world. Now, netizens have divided thoughts about him. Some voiced that it was all staged, while others insisted that he was saying that all true. And you know what's even more interesting? He even predicted that in 2028, time-traveling technology might be available to everyone, and that we'll have a super smart AI in the future.
We will be able to, when that year 2028 comes, I and many others will be able to visit that time. It was a world where advancements such as mind upload technology and even sentient AI, sentient artificial intelligence, were commonplace.
Well, it's not that far off. Let's see what we get in the future. Girl from the future. In 2022, a strange girl appeared on the internet, and her story is just as unexplainable. According to her, she was born in 2006 but came from the future.
Most importantly, I was born in 2006. Of course, you may have questions because it's obvious that I'm not 16 years old.
Yeah, you heard that right. And she worked for a company called Lab Geo in 2028, which was doing some groundbreaking work in medicine. But things went south, and she had to make a run for it, using a prototype time machine to escape prosecution. She even showed newspapers from 2027 with some future events like the colonization of Mars and some future technology.
This is a newspaper published in 2027. Space Rock's Mars colonization project is running successful.
Now, as this clip went viral, it was followed by controversies and loads of skepticism. People were divided on this, with many calling it a public stunt. What are your thoughts on it? Golden chip.
Hello everyone, my name is George. I cannot say where I am now or what country I am in.
In this footage, a man confessed something crazy. Apparently, he was from the year 2030 and had this insane story to tell. According to him, in the future, everyone will have a crazy chip implanted in their bodies that'll make them super smart and connected. But that's not even the craziest part. He claimed he came from 2030 and had actually time traveled back to 2018. And get this, he even had this golden chip that he said would be implanted in humans. Now, on the internet, different viewpoints have emerged. Some were all for the idea that he was bluffing and it was just staged, while others believed he might have come from the future. So what's the reality here? Well, it's a mystery for the ages, but if it was all true, it's pretty wild to think about what humans will be capable of doing in the future.
By the way, I will show it to you now. This little device, which at first sight is nothing, changed the whole world in just a few years.
Cyborg. In 2020, a man named Oren appeared online and claimed he was a cyborg and had traveled from 2050.
We are Oren, a collective conscious and cyborg. We went to the future, to 2050.
Now, at first, nobody believed him, but he was invited for an interview. And guess what? Oren accepted the interview and said some wild things on screen. He claimed some sort of future technology had taken over his body, and they had implanted a chip for communication.
We have scars that show the implant in our leg and in our brain, but we do not feel the need to prove ourselves.
He said he time traveled to 2050 and saw an apocalypse fueled by AI.
We went to the future, to 2050, and we saw the apocalypse. We saw artificial intelligence that became sentient. Machines will enslave humans.
He was sent here by some higher powers.
Created by the higher civilization. They have a device that allows us to transport.
And had some kind of a message from a higher power. He kept warning everyone about some big trouble that was coming, and said we all need to band together to fight it. He called the enemy the corporation, and he was all about saving humanity.
Dream and vision that has been created by corporations to make you feel happy. Things such as the nuclear family.
So what was the reality? I guess we'll just have to wait till 2050 to find out for sure. Interdimensional traveler. Back in the 1950s, something pretty weird happened at Tokyo's Hana Airport when a fancy-looking guy appeared with a passport from a country called Taured, which nobody had ever heard of before. He showed all of the relevant documents that appeared to be legit, but nobody could figure out where Taured was. So the authorities took him in for questioning and put him in a hotel room. But the next day, when they went to check on him, he was gone without a trace. Nobody knew what really happened to him, but some people think he might have been a time traveler or some sort of interdimensional traveler. Futuristic city. There was this guy in 2018 who created a buzz on the internet by claiming that he had traveled to the year 6000. He said he had been on a top-secret mission with the military and was sent to the future. According to him, the technology in the year 6000 was way more advanced than anything we could ever imagine. And he even showed a picture of a futuristic city he took while he was there. He said that time travel was pretty common back then.
Now you may notice that the actual picture itself is a little distorted. That is because in the time travel process, pictures tend to get distorted.
And you know what's even more interesting? He predicted that this technology would be in our hands by the end of the decade. Let's just see how true his claims are in the coming years. Tyson's fan. Who wouldn't be a fan of watching Mike Tyson blowing those punches? Even a time traveler went back to watch one of his matches. It was from a Mike Tyson fight back in 1995. And there, a guy was spotted in the crowd holding what seemed like a smartphone. Now, we all know smartphones came out way after this match. So how could this man be holding one? After seeing this footage, the internet buzzed with wild theories of Tyson being a real-life time traveler who flew back to this fight. But skeptics weren't buying this narrative. So what was the reality then? Well, experts, after some digging, found that it was just an early version of the camcorder.
It's an early version of a camcorder called the Dicam Logitech.
Sometimes, reality is just stranger than fiction. Hungry time traveler. On the night of January 16th, an unexplainable event occurred in an unknown location. A homeless person was sleeping in front of a store, and as the footage rolled in, a couple could be seen walking by the store, and after finding out it was closed, they returned. However, right after they left, a man wearing a black hoodie came and walked straight into the closed door, but instead of hitting it, he entered the store easily. As he was entering the store, the camera and the electric lights started working erratically. After a couple of minutes, the man came out of there holding a sandwich. Now, several theories have come forward about this footage. One of the most popular ones was that the person in the black hoodie was a hungry time traveler. I know what you're thinking, it kinda sounds like a scene out of some sci-fi movie. But hold on, after asking the homeless man about this event, he explained he felt something odd at that place, but didn't see any man or entity entering or leaving the store. Victor Goddard. Let's have this crazy story about Victor Goddard, who flew 4 years into the future. It all happened in 1935, when he was flying his plane from Edinburgh to Andover. He decided to check out an old, abandoned airstrip built during World War I. As he got there, he was caught in high winds and lost control of his plane. But when he regained control, everything below him had changed. The old airstrip was now brand new, with unknown airplanes parked all around it. He even saw some future events before his plane was pulled back by some kind of vortex. Many thought he was hallucinating. But interestingly enough, the old airstrip was renovated in 1939 with new planes, just like he saw back in 1935. So was he a time traveler or something else? Doppelganger. In 2019, the teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg went viral on social media with her uncanny resemblance to a girl working in a mine in 1898. Greta was first spotted on the screen when she was giving an epic glare to President Trump at the UN in 2019. After her video went viral, netizens started speculating wild theories. Some folks thought that she could be a time traveler who came to save us, while others said it was just pure coincidence. So what do you think it might be? A time traveler or really a coincidence? I guess we're left with just guesses in this case. Guardian Angel. Something really weird happened at a crossing back in 2012. There was a truck coming at high speed, but the driver didn't know that a man was crossing the road too. They were about to collide when all of a sudden, something or someone zoomed in and lifted the man out of harm's way. It all happened so fast, but we could see something flashing in its hand as he placed the man safely on the side of the road. And the interesting part is that right after the incident, that thing just casually walked away like nothing had happened. The man and the drivers were left in a state of shock, and even the authorities were scratching their heads. Was it some kind of real-time flash or a guardian ghost? I guess we may never know. Teleporting dog. There was this video that went viral. A few young boys were racing their cars on the highway, and all of a sudden, something really weird happened. As they zoomed past the guy filming, out of nowhere, a dog just appeared and crossed the road. Everyone who has seen the video was going crazy and saying that the dog must have teleported from another dimension or something, because it was just too freaky to explain otherwise. While some skeptics suggested it might just be a camera glitch or a clever edit. Upon analyzing the footage, experts declared the footage was legit. Now, the question is, what really happened that day? Could it really be a time traveler dog? Or is there any other possible explanation? This is a cliffhanger that still has many questioning reality. Chase. In this bizarre footage, a boy could be seen walking down the road, and everything seemed pretty normal at first. But then, something strange happened. That boy suddenly looked back as if he saw something behind him. And then, out of nowhere, a flash appeared on the screen and the boy vanished into thin air. People on the internet had crazy ideas about what happened. A few tried to brush it off by saying it was all fake and edited, but others could not negate the theory that the boy was actually a time traveler and was running away from someone. So in order to save himself, he teleported himself to another dimension. What do you think of this? A hoax or a real time traveler? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Flashing scooter. In this crazy footage, a lady could be seen taking out some luggage from the trunk of a car. At first, everything seemed normal, but then, as she bent down to grab something, a guy on a scooter came from the other side, and something weird happened. There was a white streak on the rider, and the man disappeared into thin air. Yeah, just like that. When this video went viral, people were throwing out all sorts of theories, like a glitch in the Matrix or a time traveler, but skeptics said it might just be a camera glitch. So what do you think it was? Share your thoughts down in the comments. Time to go back. This is perhaps the most intriguing unsolved mystery, which occurred in 2014. A 27-year-old German man was seen entering the airport with his bags, looking all normal and stuff. But then, just 10 minutes later, he was spotted again without his bags, running like he was being chased by something or someone. He kept on running and running until he completely vanished out of our eyes. And that was the last time anyone ever saw him. But where did he go? Now, the popular theory among masses is that he was a time traveler who went back to his own timeline after seeing some gnarly stuff in the future. So, what's your theory on this? Share it in the comments section. Glitch in the Matrix. On a typical day at a Russian intersection, cars were lined up, waiting for that green light, and as soon as the light changed and traffic continued, out of nowhere, a collision occurred between two cars. But here's the interesting part. One of them wasn't there a second ago. It literally materialized out of thin air. The footage of this bizarre incident went viral in no time. Considering how bizarre this whole ordeal was, there are a few theories rounding up in the people. It could be a glitch in the Matrix, or mystical portals created by secret government agencies. One of the widely accepted ones is that this was real-life time traveling. What's your take on this strange occurrence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Lab coat. In Russia, something unexplainable happened. On a highway, a lorry swerved abruptly to save a man who seemingly materialized out of nowhere. He was wearing a lab coat and black boots, and was walking like he didn't know where he was. And the truck driver, who almost hit the figure, pulled over to see what was going on. This footage went viral in no time and sparked many wild theories. Some said it was proof that Russia was working on some futuristic tech, and this could be the evidence of a teleportation experiment. It was like a sci-fi movie scene, but what could be going on there? Nobody knows for sure. Mike Markham. In 1995, a guy named Mike Markham started building a time machine in his house in Missouri. He used an electrical Jacob's ladder and a modified CD laser to create a weird heat vortex. And guess what? It worked! He saw some objects disappear and reappear within. So, he decided to build a bigger machine that could transport humans through time. In 1997, he was able to build this bigger time machine, but he needed heavy electricity, so he decided to use the local grid station. But that, go figure, was a bad idea, and the whole experiment went wrong. When police investigated his house, Markham was not there, and nobody to this day knows what happened to him. And you know what's even weirder? People found out that there was a strange connection with a body found on a Florida beach back in the 1930s. So it's widely believed that Markham did travel back in time, but met his demise. But that's just a conspiracy theory, not confirmed by anyone. Simulation.
His face is moving, but look at that, his face just moved, but the guy in the mirror is seeing the same.
In this weird footage, a man was sitting in his car at a stoplight when he noticed something super weird. He saw the reflection of the man in the car in front of him, but something was off. The guy's face was moving, but the reflection in the mirror was totally still. He even zoomed in and recorded it. As this footage made its way to the internet, people were freaking out over this video and coming up with all sorts of theories. like it might just be some fancy editing work, while others were getting all philosophical by saying that this was proof that we're all living in some crazy simulation. British ladies. So if you're not really into the idea of time travel, then you might want to check this one out. You might just start thinking about it differently. In an old video from 1938, something really crazy was filmed on camera. At first, everything seemed pretty normal, just some people walking by. But then, two ladies caught everyone's eyes. One of them was seen talking on a mobile phone. Wait, what? How could that be possible? There were no mobile phones back then. Now, this could either just be a piece of cloth that looked like a phone, or perhaps those ladies were actual time travelers. The claims go wild here, but nothing's there to prove anything properly. iPad. Sometimes we accidentally come across such videos which are simply unexplainable. Like, have a look at this one from 1999 that apparently showed some political rally. People were just witnessing it as it was passing by, but one person in the video caught everyone's attention because in the crowd there was a person holding what looked like an iPad. Weird, right? Because, you know, iPads weren't even a thing until 2010 when Apple released it. It made netizens wonder, could this be time travel? Some even pointed towards some kind of simulation where things don't quite add up. Missing person. Something mind-bending happened in 1950 when a man named Rudolph, wearing old-fashioned clothes, showed up in Times Square, but unluckily got into an accident. When cops searched him, they found some strange things. An unused token for a 5-cent beer at a bar no one knew, a bill for taking care of a horse, and some old banknotes worth $70, all in perfect condition. Police tried to find who the man was, but they couldn't. However, they got to a man whose dad went missing in 1876. Now, here the opinions diverged, with some asserting this story was just all fiction, and others advocating it was a real case. Interestingly, there was a newspaper article that came out before these claims, which only added some mystery to Rudolph Fentz's story. Creepy teleportation. There was this freaky video making the rounds on the internet. It started off with a woman strolling outside all by herself. Suddenly, she stopped and reached out like she was grabbing for something. But interestingly, there was nothing there. Then, out of nowhere, a little girl popped up next to her. And get this, the woman didn't even seem surprised. It was like she had done this before. Many believe the woman was summoning the girl, and her chill reaction suggested this wasn't new to her. So what was the deal? Was the girl a teleporter, or was the woman pulling the strings? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Vanishing lady. At a Danish airport, a routine TV interview took a bizarre turn. While focusing on a man being interviewed, viewers noticed something odd in the background. A blonde woman vanished into thin air as another person walked past her. A few doubters rejected it as a camera glitch and suggested that she simply entered a blind spot in the camera. But questions about it being a supernatural event and the woman slipping into another dimension was haunting some viewers. They just couldn't stop talking about it. This strange incident on live TV left everyone confused and questioning their beliefs. But no matter the theory, one thing was clear. It was something that none of us could explain. Swiss watch. Recently, archaeologists made a bizarre discovery from a sealed Ming Dynasty tomb that made scientists baffled. They found a Swiss ring watch in a 400-year-old tomb. Yeah, you heard that right. It looked super modern, and some people were even speculating about time travel. Even more interesting thing was, it's got the word Swiss written on it. Even though Switzerland wasn't founded until way after the Ming Dynasty, some skeptics said it might just be a hoax, while others wondered how it ended up there. Was it put there by tomb raiders? Or maybe it was a time traveler's watch? Nobody really knows for sure, but it sure makes us question everything we thought we knew about time. Ancient laptop. In 2014, a sculpture from ancient Greece sparked some wild theories when a video surfaced claiming it depicted a woman holding a laptop with USB ports. But how could that be possible? Some even suggested it was proof of time travel or alien intervention. But what did the experts say? According to them, the simplest explanation could be that it was a jewelry box or a wax tablet, not some futuristic gadget. Moreover, ancient Greeks used similar tablets for writing too. And those holes? Well, the holes in the object could have held wooden adornments or been part of reworking. So what are your thoughts on it? A futuristic gadget in ancient sculpture? Or just a simple makeup kit? Tell me in the comments section. Wrong parking. One day in France, people were baffled by a sight that was simply unexplainable. In the middle of a parking lot, one car was parked in quite the extraordinary way. It had a fully grown tree sticking out of it. People around it were just gawking, trying to figure out how it could even be possible. They even looked under the car to figure it out, whether it was real or not. And guess what? It was all real. But how was this possible? A portion of the crowd felt that it was a time-traveling car that had some serious issues with parking, while others suggested it might just be a glitch in the Matrix. Who knows what really happened, but it was definitely a head-scratcher. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Skipping road. While crossing the road, you should avoid high-speed traffic, right? But this guy just skipped that whole part altogether. In CCTV footage, a person suddenly appeared on the other side of the road out of nowhere. The video quality was so good that it was hard to believe what you were seeing. People were freaking out and wondering if it was some kind of glitch in the Matrix or something similar. Now, there is a possibility that it might just be a clever video masking. Or if we think out of the box, it was apparently a man teleporting from another dimension. Well, nobody's been able to prove anything for sure, so the mystery has remained unsolved. Moberly Jourdain Incident. In 1901, two English women named Moberly and Jourdain had a super weird experience while exploring the Garden of Versailles. They were trying to find the Petit Trianon, which was linked to Marie Antoinette, but they ended up being teleported back to the late 18th century. Crazy, right? They even saw some buildings and people in old-fashioned clothes. And guess what? They even spotted someone who looked like Marie Antoinette. And after experiencing all of this, both of them returned. Now, experts tried to explain it might just be a hallucination or fatigue, but they were pretty sure that what they experienced was real. So, was it time travel or something paranormal? There's no way to know for sure, but it's definitely a mystery for the ages. Disappearance. Have you ever heard of Ettore Majorana, who disappeared suspiciously? He was a brilliant physicist born in 1906, but he vanished in 1938, leaving behind a note that suggested he might have gone or disappeared. He was famous for his work on neutrinos and Majoran-Fons particles. People have been trying to find out what happened to him, but his fate remains unknown, which led to the emergence of two camps. One backed that he was disillusioned with the misuse of his research post-World War II, and that's why he escaped through time travel or alternate dimensions. And the other supported that he might have just met his demise. But all of these were just speculations, and we may never know the truth about Majorana's disappearance. Paddled. In this puzzling video, as the camera holder was talking with musicians, a man on a bicycle seemingly materialized in the background. What's even more creepy was the lack of reaction from anyone present. Like they didn't even notice he came out of thin air. This footage got insane attention from netizens and sparked debates among experts. There's a possibility that it was a perspective trick or editing manipulation. Even though there were logical explanations, some people were still not convinced and doubted that the cyclist was present from the start. It was a mystery that made people curious, as there was no clear explanation for this strange incident. Time machine. In 2009, an amateur footage of what appeared to be an actual time machine or some kind of dimensional portal surfaced on the internet, and everyone was baffled seeing this. Someone was filming this weird machine that looked like it was from another dimension or something. It was round and had these lights on it. As the camera person got closer, the machine started doing something crazy and a portal-like thing appeared out of nowhere. But then the footage went all wonky because of the high frequency or something, so nobody knows what actually happened next. Some said that the camera person got sucked into another dimension, while others think it was all just a hoax. The circus. Let's go back in time a moment. In 1928, a man popped up at the premiere of Charlie Chaplin's The Circus with something that looked like a modern-day cell phone. That happened back in 1928, way before cell phones were invented. So how could this be possible? Netizens have been trying to give possible explanations for decades and come up with some wild theories. Did the universe mess up? Or did we just get a sneak peek into the secrets of time travel? People are still talking about it to this day, and everyone's got their own theories. Looks like it's a mystery that may never be solved. Open discussion. This is the story of a man named Sergey, a mysterious time traveler from Ukraine. Back in 2006, he showed up in Kyiv claiming to be from 1958, with a funky ID card and all. Then things got weirder when his camera had pics from the 1950s, but he was in them wearing the same clothes as when he appeared. Doctors thought it was aliens or time dilation. But you know what the even crazier part was? Sergey vanished from a local hospital room, leaving behind only old photos and baffled cops. But here's the even crazier part. When people checked the record, there was a missing person named Sergey who had disappeared in Kyiv in 1960, then reappeared years later, just like Sergey did in 2006. Coincidence? Or was he a time traveler? Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.